After the two Sainsbury's Pale Ales, well, let's make it a trio. So this is the third of the new Pale Ales from Sainsbury's. This is a Bliss Point. It's from Thornbridge. It comes in at 5%, a hazy American Pale Ale. Is it going to be that big orangey West Coast type of American Pale Ale like the others? Well, keep on watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to review another beer from Sainsbury's. They've been in my fridge a little while and I just want to get through them now. And, you know, for people that want to buy beers from Sainsbury's, if that's your local supermarket, then, you know, it's up to me to tell you whether these beers are any good. This is called Bliss Point. It's from Thornbridge. They're a Yorkshire brewery. Now, I haven't had a Thornbridge for a while, but they do quite consistent sort of beers. I really like the one that they did with North, the Mountain IPA. I don't even know if you can get that anymore. It used to be in Morrison's. But they also do other things like Jamestown, is it Green Mountain is another one. They're good without being spectacular beers. And this one is a hazy American Pale Ale coming at 5%. Now we've had a recent Pale Ales. We had the gluten-free one by McKellar. Then we also had that other one by the Two Beers. That's the, worked out after that video that's the translation from that sort of OL or OI, 2OI, whatever, however you pronounce that. But that translates as Two Beers. That was the name of that brewery. That was the House of Pale. Both were good, but they were quite similar, very big in the orange flavours. So I'm not sure what this is going to be about. I'm sort of thinking it's going to be similar because it says it's an American Pale Ale, but it says hazy, so that makes me think maybe it won't be so much. So let's get this beer out of the can and into a glass. Okay, well, straight away, it looks a lot lighter than those other beers. Still got an orangey tinge to it. But yeah, that's definitely a bit lighter. I mean, it's hazy, but if you look at the bottom, that's sort of almost, you know, it's quite clean. See the carbonation moving pretty quickly. To me, that's a sort of hazy, unfiltered sort of lager sort of colour. It's definitely not as orange as those other two, and it's much more yellow. It's more, I don't know, it's more traditional in terms of Pale Ales that we get. It's got two fingers of pretty white compacted head. It's quite a light white colour. It's not off-white like the other two were. But it has got this sort of, it's got a haze to it, but there's also this sort of clearness that sort of peeks through. Yeah, it looks all right. Let's see what it tastes like. No, let's see what it smells like first. Yeah, I'm not getting the orangey sort of aroma like the other two. There's a lot more lemony, grapefruit sort of aromas in here. So it's much more sort of cleaner, zestier, brighter than those other two. I think it's going to be a little bit more refreshing, but obviously the proof will be in the drinking. So cheers, everyone. Yeah, it's quite a big hit of grapefruit when you first drink it, and then you get loads of lemon as well that sort of washes over that. So you think it's going to be a little bit grapefruity bitter, but then the lemon sort of washes that bitterness away to some extent and makes it a really light and refreshing beer. Carbonation, I would say, is a medium. It's fairly light in terms of its body. It's a real refreshing beer though. Yeah, I mean, those lemony grapefruit flavours are really nicely combined. Sometimes with grapefruit, you can get, it's usually one of those sort of flavours that you get on the back end of a beer, really. Unless it's a grapefruit IPA, which or a grapefruit Pale Ale, which they do exist, and obviously they've probably added grapefruit adjuncts in them of some description. You usually get it on the back end, and that really sort of rounds the beer off with a little bit of sort of sharp bitterness, really. I mean, it's that sort of very sort of almost tartness that you get with a little bit of bitterness flavour in there. Sometimes you get that grapefruit and a bit of pininess as well. With this though, the grapefruit's quite up front, but it's kept in check by this sort of lemon flavour that sort of washes over that grapefruit. And that's about it, really. There's not really much else. The sort of lemon sort of just sort of almost cleanses the palate of that sort of initial sharp zestiness of that grapefruit, and then you just get this sort of nice lemony sort of lemon juice sort of flavour that just cuts across it. As I said, it's a very I mean, this is what, to some extent, this is what I want from a pale ale. I want it to be, I don't want it to be too fizzy, but I want there to be a little bit of carbonation. I want to drink it like it's got a bigger flavour than a lager. So sometimes a lager, yeah, it's okay. You're going to get more of that sort of malty, biscuity, or, you know, sometimes even bready sort of profile. But with this, there's none of that sort of maltiness in there. You're just getting just fruit, and you're getting those big citrus hits of lemons and grapefruit. That's about it. There's not much else in there. Let's see what it says on the can. So Bliss Point is a modern take on the American Pale Ale style with a slight haziness and huge flavours of mango and guava from the 4 US hops. Oh wow, I didn't even read this. Actually got the hops in here. Cascade, Simcoe, Azaka and citrus. So 4 hops, that's pretty good. I mean, it's saying orangey citrus and then pineapple tangerine. I'm not getting any of that sort of stuff. Let's, you know, what is it? It said again, mango and guava. Maybe guava, but I'm not really picking up much mango. I think the lemony citrus is so strong that a lot of those other flavours are a little bit sort of washed away. I'm certainly not really getting any pineapple either. And there is a slight tangerine, I think, in there. I think maybe, you know, I pull, with all the pale ales I drink, I like to pull them straight out the fridge and pretty much open them. I think that they usually are always better when they're cold, and I treat them the same way as I would a lager. So, but sometimes with something a bit more complex, 4 different hops in there, maybe it needs to wait a few, you know, maybe 20 minutes just to warm up a bit. Maybe those flavours will start coming out. To me, it's still grapefruit and other citrus, lemons, limes. I always, you know, I'm glad I didn't read the can before I just had the first sip of it, because I'm starting to think now I'm getting a tangerine flavour, but I don't know if it's just because I've read it and psychologically it's making me think, am I getting a tangerine? There is that sort of slight sort of rindy sort of flavour, and you think, oh, well, is that the grapefruit? But it could be sort of slightly orangey. I'm not getting mango. I'm not getting pineapple. Guava, yeah, I mean, that guava is a very sort of refreshing, citrusy almost sort of flavour. So again, that's competing with those sort of, I suppose, more known. You know what lemon tastes like. You know what grapefruit tastes like. So they're the things that jump into your mind. But it's a great, refreshing beer. And I would actually say, out of the 3 pale ales that we've had from Sainsbury's in the last 3 videos, this is probably the best one. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Bliss Point, a hazy American pale ale from Thornbridge, Yorkshire Brewery, coming in at 5% on the nose in a 440ml can. This was, again, you know, the pricing in Sainsbury's, you know, they're either £3, £3.20, which I know the little Sabrony was definitely £3.20, or £3.50. I think this was a £3 one because it's a pale ale. It's pretty good. It's still not up there with the likes of the Alpaca by Salt, which still definitely leads the way in terms of Sainsbury's beer. But I think it's slightly better than the other 2 pales that we've had recently, both the Peter, Pale and Mary, the gluten-free one from Michela, and also the House of Pale from the other Danish brewery as well. But this one, AROMA. So first things first, AROMA, citrusy, very lemony, very grapefruit, bit of lime in there. That's about it really. Yeah, I mean, after reading the things, you think, well, can I get a bit of, I'm getting a little bit of orange, but the citrus, in terms of citrus, the lemon is quite big, and the grapefruit is definitely in there as well. It's very pleasant, and it's so zesty that you know it's going to be a good first quencher. So I'm giving it 13 for AROMA. Appearance, well, it's as much as it's a hazy IPA, it's not got that much haze, but it is almost typical of a lot of pale ales in that it's got this sort of obviously yellowy colour, but it's got a very slight haze on it. We've had a lot hazier pale ales than this, so not bad, but I'm giving it a 7 for appearance. Flavour wise, well, like the aromas, you get a big hit of grapefruit, and then you get lemons and you get limes. And you could say there's a little bit of sort of orange on the back end, a little bit of sort of rind, a little bit of sort of slight sort of bitterness. But that's about it. I'm not getting much in terms of tropical. The can says mango, it says pineapple. I'm not getting any of that. Guava, maybe. But guava, how many people, you know, they eat guava on a regular basis? I can't remember. I'm sure I've had guava, but I can't remember the last time I had it. So, yeah. If you're a big guava eater, then you might think, oh yeah, that tastes just like guava. But to me, it's very, very citrus fruits. That's what it's all about. But it's really pleasant. Mouthfeel, it's light. It's carbonated to the right sort of level of a pale ale, sort of medium carbonation. Goes down well. It's refreshing. That's the big thing about it. So I'm giving it 33 for flavour. Value for money, we'll say, based on it being £3, it's pretty good. 5% pale ale for £3. It's a good beer. I'm giving it 8 out of 10. And then my overall experience, well, this is a sort of beer that you want to drink in the summer. If you want to sort of think, oh, well, I want a lager, but I want something a little bit more fruity, a little bit more flavour, but I want something that is not going to sort of overwhelm me with the flavours. This is it. It's light and it's refreshing. If you like grapefruits and citrus fruits in your beer, then you'll really like this. So I'm giving it 13 for overall experience. Tight note scores up, we get a total score of 74. So it's a couple points higher than the House of Pale, and a few more higher, and a little bit more higher than the gluten-free one. They scored. I'm just looking at my scoring here. The gluten-free one was 71 and the House of Pale 72. So this is 74 is the better one. So anyone had this from Sainsbury's, let me know what you think in the comments. If you haven't, give it a try. It's not the best pale ale you're ever going to drink, but for a supermarket pale ale, it's not bad at all. It's definitely worth drinking, but again, it's still a long way from being an alpaca. So I hope you enjoy this review. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. The numbers are going up. I know there's people that are liking the videos and deciding to subscribe, so I'm trying to put more and more videos out, make sure I'm building content every day. We've got quite a few good ones coming up, and I've got a whole load of new beers coming through as well for July. So until the next one, keep on rocking.